Hey there, it has been a few days since I posted a video and I'm about, oh goodness gracious, like, I don't know, a week behind. The last thing that I posted for you guys was my birthday on June 27th. When I tell you that those 5 port days just messed me all up, and they messed me all up. Off the ship. I got off the ship yesterday. That 33 days flew by. I'm in London right now and I'm gonna be here for a few more days and I'm enjoying myself. Today I got up and I went to my first point of interest. Yesterday I was really tired. It was a 2-hour drive from Dover. That's where we were ported and I disembarked. It was a 2-hour drive to London. Princess Cruise Lines offers various transfers from the cruise terminal to the 2 different airports in the area and then one into the city center. So that worked out because I was wondering, like, what am I gonna do now that I added this extra bag? You know, originally I was trying to I was gonna do public transportation, but I didn't want my bags to be super heavy, which in hindsight I probably should have just gone ahead and kept that 49-pound suitcase, because now I got like 2 40-pound suitcases. So make it make sense, girl. So I'm walking around with 3 bags. So basically the coach transfer was great. I ended up getting an Uber, and homegirl, I guess me and the driver, I'll refer, when I was starting with homegirl, I was referring to the driver. She had this car and my luggage she did not really want it inside of her vehicle. I thought that was, you know, a little odd because I was worried. We were both kind of worried that all of the suitcases wouldn't fit. They made it, but there was so much traffic when we left the coach station to get to the hotel, and I think it's only maybe 20 minutes away, but it seemed like it took forever. Yesterday London had their gay pride parade, and so a lot of streets were blocked off, and I guess it's just, you know, a Saturday in the summer in London, and so it was busy. There are lots of people. It reminds me of New York City or somewhere. There's a lot of diversity, a lot of sights and things to see. London is a beautiful city, a mix of old architecture and modern architecture, just so much to do. This morning I got up and I had breakfast in the restaurant. So I'm staying at this hotel. Yesterday when I checked into my room, so what's interesting to me is that, okay, so if you're planning a trip to London, be aware that the hotel room sizes are much smaller than they are back in the US. So I noticed that when I was looking at some of the hotels before I made my decision, they had like single beds, which are basically twin beds, and the room is like, I feel like really small, smaller than a cruise cabin, and you know those can be small. So I went on ahead, I booked the superior single. And when I was doing my booking, I looked at the pictures and I thought, okay, this one that was listed as the superior single had a better layout than the classic single. And I think it was maybe just a bit more in the pricing, but I thought, all right, I'm gonna, you know, go with that. Because the jump to having a room with a queen bed, you know, I can't remember what the price difference was, but it was a little more than I wanted to pay. I think it was a pretty significant jump. So I went on ahead, I got it. So when I checked in, it was about 1 o'clock. My room was ready, so I thought, great, that's a plus, because at this point now I'm kind of tired because we had a port day the day before we disembarked. We were in Amsterdam, and so, you know, I was out doing that stuff and I got sick. Formal night, so I had on that beautiful gold dress. I don't know what I ate, but something did not agree with me. And I said, okay, I got to get out of this gown before I ruin it. And I was vomiting and things. Luckily, it was short and not that real, what's the word I'm looking for? Like that volatile where you're heaving and you can't control, and your abdominal muscles are just contracting. Thankfully, it wasn't violent like that, because that is the worst. So, I was sick Thursday night into Friday. I got up Friday morning and was slow motion. Didn't get off the ship until like 11, and it's an hour ride from the cruise terminal into Amsterdam. So I was, kind of short on time. We had a 5:30 all aboard time. I think I got back at like 4:15 or something, or a little before 4, and we had to get up and disembark. We had to be out of the cabin by 8 a.m. So it's just been bam, bam, bam since those 5 port days in a row. So back to the hotel. So when I checked in and my room was ready, I was like, great. But I walked into my room and I said, wait a minute, this doesn't look like the room that I chose. I'm very visual. So if you see something on the website and this is what, I'm expecting the room to somewhat look like that. The room looked exactly like the classic single. So I went back down to the front desk and I was just like, this room doesn't look like what I wanted. They have been very accommodating. They took me and showed me some other rooms, and I said, I'll just stay. They said, well, we can change you tomorrow. We can, upgrade you. And I had already, okay, because here's the other thing. I did a piss poor job of packing when I got off the ship, because the night before, I decided to do one last load. I got my laundry back from the laundry services right before I left to go into Amsterdam. So I said, I'm not going to try to pack and put it away now. I'll deal with that when I come back. So when I got back, I met the solos and singles at 5 p.m. and then went to dinner, and then got back to my room, and I said, I want to do one last load myself, because I really just don't want to be traveling with dirty clothes already, because I still have another like 5 days before I'm back home. So I did that. So needless to say, I had spent all this time packing and things ahead of time before I left for my trip. I don't know, I didn't get really anything more, but the stuff was not fitting in the suitcases. So when I got into my room in London, I had said, all right, I'm gonna, repack things and try to get them a little more organized so it's not just a crap show. And that's what I did. And then before I did that, I went out, got something to eat, because I hadn't eaten since that morning. And I was like, I am exhausted. I'm tired. And so instead of going out to explore, I came back and I laid down, because, you have to learn how to rest. You have to give yourself that time to recharge, and it'll be there. And so that's what I did. I just stayed in the room. I ended up, pulling everything out, repacking what, is the suitcases so that I don't have to bother them. And I chilled. I think I dozed off, took a little cat nap, and then about 11 something, I think I went to bed for the night. And I woke up at 7 this morning, and I got dressed and I went down to have breakfast. There's a restaurant down there, and I was surprised when I got down, because there was this long line of people waiting to get into the restaurant, and I thought it was gonna take like a long time, and I only saw this one room. So I thought, oh my goodness, is this all the seating that they have? But they had a tea parlor off in the back that you couldn't see, so they were moving people in there. It's a breakfast buffet. It's a nice spread, quite a bit of food, like they have a cold options, and then hot, and various breads and juices and things. And so it was included in the room that I purchased, so I didn't have to pay anything additional. I loved that. And then I went to Mass. Yep. I walked to St. Paul's Cathedral, and I went for the 11:15 Eucharist. And they have this program so you can follow along. It was about an hour and 15 minutes, and it was really cool. The sermon was delivered by a reverend from Rhode Island, a female reverend. Let me add that she's a lady. So I got to speak with her, as I left the church. That was it. And then I figured out what I was gonna do for the rest of the day. Then after that, I just walked around. I saw Five Guys. I ended up going in there. I was like, ooh, a burger sounds nice. But get this. I haven't been eating a whole lot, and I didn't want to buy an order of fries, even a little fry, because I felt like I didn't want to waste it. So when the guy gave me my order, I said, can I have like 3 fries? And he looked like, ma'am, what? I felt like Chris Rock and I'm gonna get you sucker. But he gave me, I don't know, maybe like 10 in a little cup. And so I was like, thank you so much. Because I wanted some fries, but I just didn't want a whole order. This is where having somebody with you is beneficial, because you can share. Or, I was looking at people in there like, you won't eat all your fries. Can I get a fry? So that was it. Then I just walked, and London has a lot of free museums, and so I went to one called Tate Modern, and this museum is free, but there are exhibits that if you're not a member, you have to pay for. So there's a free portion, and then some of their big exhibits are they cost you, and you can buy entry for, or entry to. So I did that, and then I walked back. My room was ready. They switched it. So this is a look at the new room. So you come in, there's the door, and you have a closet with the safe, ironing board, and iron dryer. And then you have the your coffee area. Now what is in here? Does this open? Oh, wait a minute now. Does this get cold? Oh, it does. Wait, I'm just now seeing this. Okay, that's perfect. Because the last room did not have a refrigerator. So I got the kettle, and this is all teas and coffee, espresso. Window and table. They're environmentally conscious. This is a plant-based water bottle, and they have some chocolate. All right, so I got a queen bed, nightstands on either side, and then I like this shower much better because the doors close all the way. In the last room, the shower door, it was like, say there was no door over here, it was just open, and then this was just all one, but I felt like it needed to have a little bit more closure. That's it. Nothing, nothing fancy, but it's a lot nicer than the other room, a little more spacious. Anyway, I'm going to catch up with these videos now that I am back on solid ground and got better internet speed and stuff, because I owe you lots of videos. I mean, I've only given you 3 of the 5 port days. I still owe you a video from Namibia and a video from La Coruna. Where else did we go after Helsinki. See, I don't even know. We went to Helsinki. Oh, Copenhagen. We went to Denmark. That one was a quick, I'll have to tell you about that. And then Stockholm, Sweden. No, that's not right. Copenhagen, then Amsterdam. Where did we go after? I'm tripping out. Oh, wait. I know. I can tell you where we went. Oh, I'm losing my stuff. See how hard it is when you have all of these ports? Oh my goodness, where did we go? We went, okay, so we went to Helsinki, then Tallinn, which is in Estonia, and then Stockholm. And then we had a sea day, Copenhagen, and then IJmuiden, which is the port in the Netherlands, and which Amsterdam, basically. So I owe y'all lots of stuff, or I should say I want to share all of that with you. And I'm gonna be honest, since I hit that 100 days, I've kind of like, all right, catch my breath, not put a whole lot of pressure on myself. So it is coming because I want to keep this train on the tracks and keep it going. And I have lots more that I want to share with you. And yeah, that's it. So thank you for watching, and I am going to talk to you tomorrow.